A new poll from the Washington Post and ABC News shows Donald Trump defeating Joe Biden by 10 points. And it's so shocking to see such a lead for Donald Trump that the Washington Post said this must be an outlier. Something's wrong with our poll. Now, the other day we had people saying, see, they don't want to admit it. How could they even put the poll out? Well, it's simple. If the Washington Post conducted a poll and found that Trump was winning by a massive margin and then suppressed it, it would be a scandal of epic proportions. Their only editorial choice is to release it and try to bury it. Then they can say, well, we published it. Too bad. 538 picks it up. Real Clear Politics pick it up. Somehow and for some reason, the latest polls showed Donald Trump crushing it. So what's changed? How is this possible? Well, you clicked this video. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Among independent voters, Hispanic and black voters, Donald Trump is surging. Now, he doesn't have a majority of black voters or Latino voters. Those voting blocs are still very Democrat leaning. But Trump has improved dramatically. And more importantly, among these groups, Democrats are actually struggling. It's not so much that they're all switching to Trump. It's that some of them are just bowing out. Which brings me to the subject of this video, which you already understand where I'm going. How is it that Donald Trump is surging? Perhaps it could be that in places like New York, fights are erupting as the city and the state ship in non-citizens into local neighborhoods and give resources to the tunes of millions, even up to billions of dollars to fund the lives of non-citizens while people in this country struggle. Imagine you live in New York. Your business was destroyed in 2020 when they forced you to shut down. Or how about Cuomo murders your parents in a nursing home? That's right. I'll say it again. Cuomo put sick people in nursing homes, sick people with COVID, and killed. I think the number was 15,000 people. Perhaps you've experienced that hardship. And today, the city, which declared itself a sanctuary for illegal immigration, is now spending more and more of your resources on non-citizens. And this is where it gets crazy. A viral video published by the Daily Mail showing the local police protecting non-citizens from citizens who are trying to defend their towns, their neighborhoods, their state. I'm not talking about people fighting each other or attacking each other. I am saying that New Yorkers in Staten Island came out to protest and, through nonviolent civil disobedience, reject buses full of non-citizens being brought into their neighborhoods. And the police arrested them. I'm sorry. For those that didn't want to believe it, Michael Malice is correct about police, that there is no crime so egregious they would not commit if ordered to do so. I'm including the execution of children. That's what Michael Malice says, and I believe he's correct about it. That doesn't mean, I think, that we should abolish the police entirely, right? I'm sure someone will pull up a clip of me saying abolish the police, but I'll clarify what I mean. In places like New York, where they vote for it, by all means, do your thing. I certainly think we have problems when you watch police come in and attack the locals. I mean, this is insane. What should have happened is nonviolent civil disobedience. The buses turn around and they say, you're going to have to go to some federal location, not here. That's it. They turn around. Everybody would be fine. And the people who live there, they've spoken. That's not what happened. The police began arresting locals. These things will not end well. I'm deeply worried about this, but I can tell you for the time being, the best outcome may be, and I don't know this is one for one, but there is a correlation, I presume, with illegal immigration and Donald Trump's surge in the polls. And I got to throw it to Ann Coulter. A lot of people are critical of Ann, a lot of Trump supporters, because she does not like Donald Trump. And she said in 2016, immigration was on the ballot. And that's why Trump won, because he was calling it out. And maybe she's right. Because now, as we're seeing these crises befall these cities, it's not just illegal immigration, but Eric Adams, the mayor, said New York will be destroyed. Wow. You don't think that's having an impact on people? And you've got now a massive amount of sentiment, a large sentiment in these cities of people saying, shut the borders down. Where's Joe Biden? I'm sorry. Y'all voted for Joe Biden. Oh, man. Some would call it schadenfreude, I guess. I don't want that. I think it's a problem that the borders are porous and that Joe Biden is facilitating this. And I'm not exaggerating. The Biden administration was flying migrants in the middle of the night to various parts of this country. This has been an ongoing problem. Donald Trump, he was trying to push them out, deport them, and build a wall. Well, I bet that wall is looking real good if you're a New Yorker. You're a New Yorker who went and voted for a Democrat. You're now saying, like, what have I done? Well, this is what you voted for. You wanted Eric Adams? Congratulations. Now, I know. The people on Staten Island are not the same as the people in Brooklyn. New York's a very big place. And I'd imagine that sentiment in Staten Island was always a bit more Trump supporting. Still, the majority of these people are voting for Democrats and Democrat policies. I would assume that the people protesting are not those, right? If you're going to have buses full of illegal immigrants coming to your town and you're going to go out and protest, the likelihood is you're someone who was already politically active enough to pay attention and not vote for these Democrat policies. But this is the problem of the town you live in. And so it's going to have an impact on everyone, not just the protesters. And while I can say, holy crap, cops arresting locals? Stop and think about what that means. You've got these videos of police arresting locals. You live in a city. The government ships in non-citizens to your town where there's no room. There's no place to go. They're putting them in nursing facilities, nursing homes. And you say, stop. And they say, shut your mouth. And they arrest you. Wow. This kind of thing doesn't end well, man. Because people are going to be like, this is my home. Here's the story. Tensions flare over migrants in New York City. Staten Island protesters are arrested while trying to stop buses carrying asylum seekers to shelter as they yelled, take them back. Oh, I love the insult to injury of the Daily Mail. Asylum seekers. These people aren't seeking asylum. They're economic migrants. The media is lying to you. Official UN reports as pertaining to the migrant crisis in Europe outright said years ago, these are economic migrants coming into Europe. The people we see when they interview them in these caravans, they are young men coming here for work. What was that? Your business was destroyed and you're struggling to make ends meet and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Fear not, good citizen. We've got your tax dollars to pay non-citizens to work underground and take your jobs. I love it. It's like South Park. Here we go. New York Post, September 20th. Illegal underground gig economy booms in New York City as migrants await work permits, all while living off city's dime. Ooh, I love this one. When you're working underground, you ain't paying taxes. So let me just make this very clear for all of you in your sanctuary city. These people who are coming in are economic migrants. I absolutely respect the desire to be in America and work a good paying American job. We all have it. But there's only one pie and only so many pieces of that pie to be given out. So now, as you work your job, fingers to the bone, what was that? You missed little Janie's piano recital because you had to work late hours to pay the bills? You showed up in the last half, dirty, grease on your hands. You shed a tear when they say you missed her performance. You tried to be there. It's okay. That extra time you worked, yeah, that gets cut off and sent to Uncle Sam. I guess Uncle Adams in this instance. Don't worry. The percentage you pay in New York City income tax is going to be well allotted. It's going to go in the hands of a non-citizen who is working a gig economy job who will receive benefits from you, either because they're paying for these people to live in a shelter, be put on buses, given supplies. And here's the best part. When they work, they don't pay taxes. That's you. That's you. You pay for it. You do. I think we have a word for that. What is it when, there's one group of people that has to give up portions of their income to pay for other people? We have a serf. Are you a serf? Not really. I mean, it's not like these guys are feudal lords or landowners or anything like that. But the government is taking your money because you pay your taxes like a good citizen, and they're using it to pay for the lives of economic migrants who work underground and don't pay taxes. Now, I'm sure the left will come out and say they do pay taxes. Some of them do, for sure. But come on. You want to play that game? You really think someone doing underground gig economy work is going to pay taxes? Bro, half the contractors in New York probably don't report all their taxes. And I'm talking about American citizens. You mean to tell me you think an illegal immigrant is going to give money away when they're not even being tracked and the government's giving them money? All right, let's put it this way. Let's say the non-citizens that are coming into New York are paying taxes. That's right. They're getting paid. Let's say they get $20 an hour in their gig economy job. Maybe less. They're non-citizens. Maybe it's $10. Let's say they pay their taxes. Okay, let's play that game. They work $10 an hour. They work 40 hours a week. Just hypothetical. Right? $400 at the end of that week. And then they got to pay about, like 23%. So let's say they end up giving about $100. $100 a week. That's $400 per month going to Uncle Sam or Uncle Adams. All right, that's your mayor in New York City. How much are you paying in taxes? And how much is being allotted to them? Do you think to shelter these people it costs $400? No, it costs more. So let's make it really simple. Even if these individuals are paying taxes, you are paying more for their lives than they are paying back, which is you're paying for it. Maybe now that wall is looking really good. Maybe this is why. I think this is, yes, we have this clip. This is posted by the Daily Mail. Colin Rugg tweets, just in, New York City is gearing up to pay over $1 billion on just hotels over the next 3 years to house illegal immigrants. Good. That's what happens when you call yourself a sanctuary city. But that's just the hotel cost. New York City Mayor Eric Adams estimates the total cost of the migrant crisis will be about $12 billion over the next 3 years. You mean to tell me y'all people in New York are going to be paying $4 billion this year? Taken right from your pockets. What was that? Little Janie needs braces? Too bad. So what? Too bad. We are past our breaking point, he said, with more than 57,300 individuals currently in our care on an average night. It amounts to 9.8 million per day, almost 300 million a month, and nearly 3.6 billion a year. Residents in New York City have had enough. In the video below, Staten Island locals were arrested for blocking migrant buses. Take a look at these cops right here. Those are your New York City cops. They don't care about you. They don't care about principle. They don't care about family. They don't care about this country. Where did we go wrong? I don't know. Gone are the days of Officer Friendly, who cared about his neighborhood, who cared about his church community, who cared about the locals. Long gone. You know, I think the internet does this. This guy does not care. One, you can move anywhere at any point. Good luck. If this guy gets ostracized by his community, there's no repercussions. If these cops single out and arrest locals who are desperately fighting to protect their homes and what little they have, if he arrests them, heck, he can spit on their faces while laughing the whole time. And you know what's going to happen? The next day, when he goes out to eat and takes off his uniform, ain't nobody says nothing. Nobody will know. Nobody cares. And this is the problem of community breakdown and social disarray. This is the problem of people not working locally. This is the problem of people not knowing who their neighbors are. You will be suppressed, oppressed, and beaten by your government. And these cops, they're given this dilemma when they see things like this happen. And they think to themselves, there are no negative repercussions for mercilessly beating and arresting the people in their own neighborhoods. None. Now, in Jersey, during lockdown, Attila's Gym says we're staying open. The local cops come out and say, we're not shutting you down. Why? A small town, small suburb. And these cops are worried, like, people are going to show up to our department yelling at us. City council is going to pull funding from us. We can't do this. So what did they do? They brought in cops from outside to come in, and with a smile on their faces, they said, go yourselves. Incredible. Because I think Michael Malice is right about cops. And this was exemplified by Lahaina. In Hawaii, Police shut down the road out of the city. There's like one main road that leaves the city. I think there might be more than one, but there's like one big one that everyone uses. And this was the reporting that there were children that may have burned to death in the cars. Children going missing. A lot of people did burn to death. A lot of people jumped out of their cars and jumped into the water, and some didn't make it because the police, knowing the fires were there, burning people alive, smiled and said, "Shut your mouth and stay where you are." And you know what? The people who disobeyed survived. It's a scary thought, man. This is the danger of the banality of evil. When regular people like these officers don't know, don't care, and tell you to shut your mouth. And they'll arrest you. They arrested the people who lived here. So, whose side are the police on? The New York City cops in Staten Island? They're not on your side. They're on the side of the non-citizens. If you have large swaths of people to the tunes of millions rushing your border, breaking your laws, and entering your country, what do you call that? Well, we call it an invasion, literally by definition. Governor Abbott declared an invasion in Texas. Declared an invasion. Okay, so you have invaders, at least according to Texas, and you have the people of New York saying, stop them. These police then aid and abet the invaders. What do we call that? We call that treason. I would argue it's a seditious conspiracy. You know, Eric Adams can say anything he wants. I think that the reality is simple. They're lying to you. Eric Adams knows that these people in Staten Island, the locals, are angry. He knows the people in Manhattan are angry, and he knows that he's on the verge of seeing pitchfork mobs outside. So what does he say? Oh, woe is me. Oh, heavens, I can't believe this is happening. In reality, he wants it to happen. All of these politicians do. Why? Why bring a bus to Staten Island? Send the buses down. It would be cheaper to drive the buses into Mexico. It would be cheaper to drive the buses to Honduras or Guatemala. No question. It would probably only cost, let's do some math, a couple $1,000s to send a bus load of these non-citizens back to their home countries. Instead, they'd pay for hotels and housing and benefits. It doesn't make sense. Why would Eric Adams do this? He could easily send these buses back from whence they came. He doesn't. Because when he says that he is upset about this, he's lying. And they want you, the people of Staten Island, to sit down and smile as they rip away your resources, give your money away, hurt your local economy, and destroy your life. I don't blame the migrants that are coming here. Someone offers free money, you take it. But there is an issue of honor and integrity. You know, if someone stole money from someone else and then said, you can have it, I'd be like, I'm not taking that. In fact, if I did, I'd give it back to the person that was stolen from. If I found a wallet on the ground, I'd drop it in a mailbox. You know the problem with finding a wallet on the ground? What they say is you're supposed to this is not the official thing. I think the official thing they say is just take the wallet, throw it in a mailbox. What most people will tell you in Chicago is take the money out, throw it in the mailbox, depending on how much money's in it. The problem is that money's gone, right? You pick up the wallet, you throw that cash in the mailbox, that cash ain't going nowhere. The person will get their wallet back without cash. So what they usually say is take the money as a reward, throw the wallet in the mailbox, and they'll deliver it to the person. I think maybe what you could do, if you're a good citizen, is not take the cash, look at the address on the ID, and bring it to the person's house. Throwing it into the mailbox doesn't really solve the problem, but they do deliver it back to people. It's my understanding. But this is what it should be. What it should be is that you found a wallet on the ground, and you drive to the address and say, hey, I found this wallet. Does this person live here? And they'll be like, oh, thank you so much. You save their lives. Well, not like they're going to die or anything, but it really helps them out. Yeah, gone are those days, man. I guarantee you, you drop your wallet in any one of these cities, any one of them, and you know what's going to happen? 80% likelihood, they'll pull out the cash, throw the wallet in the dumpster. That's it. And maybe someone will throw it in a, slight chance they'll throw it in the mailbox. This is communal breakdown. I think a lot of it has a problem is a problem of density. And this is why they are working to make these cities more and more dense and bring in more and more non-citizens. So that these cops with smiles on their faces will arrest you when you try to defend your home. I hope y'all get that. Michael Malice does not bring up this point arbitrarily, that these cops do these things. Look at Lahaina and understand that when the police are given an order, they will follow it. Let me tell you a story. Luke Rudkowski told me this story. I think he was in Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh, and it was like the G20 or something. I can't remember. And a bunch of, establishments, anti-machine protesters, like Ron Paul supporter types and leftists, were in a park protesting. And riot police surround the park, all facing inward at these protesters with their truncheons and their shields. And then, because they were done, the protesters started leaving. They were done protesting and started slowly just going home. But the police were never given any orders. So what happens is all the protesters have left and the police were surrounding a park staring into nothing because they're insane people. This is who they bring onto these police departments. That's why the Chaz Chop was allowed to exist. That's why people were murdered in Seattle. That's why a man was murdered in Portland, because these officers are no longer serving the community. They're serving their Democrat-appointed bosses. So these cops surround a park and just stand there because they're morons. And they're like, I got orders. It's like, you realize you're looking into an empty park and doing literally nothing. Hey, no problem. Your tax dollars pay their salaries. They don't care. And here's the worst part. You see what's happening in New York right now? People are struggling. The economy is not great. It's in a weird place where there's some good metrics, a lot of bad metrics. And what happens is these cops, they think, hey man, I got mine. You think I'm going to walk away from a job that pays the bills? Y'all, I can see how much you're suffering. I don't want to be in that boat. This is where we'll end up. And this is why I think Donald Trump is starting to surge. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.